The cargo ship New Seoul moved through space like a metal whale swimming through an ocean of stars. Captain Kim Tae-hyung sat in his command chair, watching the endless black outside his window. 3 more days until they reached the outer colonies. 3 more days of carrying medical supplies to people who needed them badly. "Captain, we are ready for the next jump," said Park Jimin from his station. The young engineer had been working on the ship for 2 years now. His hands moved across the control panel like he was playing piano. "Good. Take us to hyperspace, Jimin," Tae-hyung said. The ship began to shake as the hyperspace engine started up. This was normal. Every jump felt like riding inside a washing machine for a few seconds. Then everything would go quiet and smooth. But this time was different. A loud bang echoed through the ship. The lights went out for a moment. Then came, back red and flashing. Warning sounds filled the air. "What happened?" shouted Lee Hyuna from the medical bay. She was the ship's doctor, a woman who never got scared easily. But now her voice sounded worried. "The hyperdrive is broken," Jimin called back. His face was pale as he looked at his screens. "We dropped out of hyperspace. I do not know where." "We are." Tae-hyung felt his stomach drop. Being lost in space was every captain's worst nightmare. He stood up and walked to Jimin's station. "Can you fix it?" "Maybe. But it will take time. Maybe days." Choi Minho looked up from his communication station. He was the youngest crew member, only 23 years old. "Captain, I am getting some strange readings on the long-range sensors." "What kind of readings?" "There is a ship out there. It is moving toward us, but it does not look like any human ship I have seen before." Tae-hyung felt ice in his chest. An alien ship. They were alone, broken, and now something unknown was coming their way. How far away? About 6 hours at their current speed. "Hyuna, come to the bridge. We need to talk." The doctor arrived quickly. She was a small woman but tough as steel. She had seen combat before becoming a ship's doctor. "What do we know about this alien ship?" she asked. "Nothing good," Minho said. He was reading more data from his screens. "It is big, really big. And it is not trying to hide from us. It wants us to know it is coming." Tae-hyung thought about their options. They could not run with a broken hyperdrive. They could not fight. The New Seoul was a cargo ship, not a warship. They had no weapons except small arms for dealing with pirates. "Jimin, how long to fix the hyperdrive?" "At least 12 hours. Maybe more." "The alien ship will be here in 6 hours." "I know, Captain. I am working as fast as I can." Hyuna walked to the cargo manifest on her tablet. "Captain, we need to talk about what we are carrying." "Medical supplies. Nothing dangerous." "That is true. But look at this." She showed him the tablet. "We have 50 units of synthetic blood plasma. It is for the hospital on Kepler Station." "So what?" "Think about it. What if these aliens can smell blood? What if that is why they are following us?" The idea hit Tae-hyung like a punch. Many Earth animals could smell blood from great distances. What if some aliens could do the same thing but across space? "That is impossible," Minho said. "Blood does not smell in space." "No, but it might send out signals we do not know about," Hyuna replied. "Remember, we do not know anything about alien senses." Jimin looked up from his repair work. "She might be right, Captain. I am reading some kind of signal coming from our cargo bay. It is very weak, but it is there. Can you stop it?" "I do not know. I would have to shut down all power to the cargo bay. That includes life support for that section." "Do it." "Captain, if I am wrong about this, we will lose all our medical supplies. They will freeze or overheat." Tae-hyung thought for a moment. Medical supplies or their lives. It was not a hard choice. "Do it anyway." The lights in the cargo bay went out. The signal stopped. "Did that help?" Tae-hyung asked. Minho checked his sensors. "The alien ship is still coming, but maybe it is moving a little slower now." 4 hours passed. Jimin worked on the hyperdrive with tools and parts scattered around him. Sweat covered his face even though the ship was cold. Hyuna helped him when she could, but mostly she stayed ready in case someone got hurt. Minho watched the alien ship get closer. Now he could see it better on his screens. "Captain, you need to see this." Taehyung looked at the display. The alien ship was like nothing he had ever imagined. It was white like bone, and it moved through space like it was alive. It had no straight lines or flat surfaces. Everything curved and flowed like water frozen in time. It looks like a giant tooth, Minho whispered. Or a fang, Hyuna added. The ship was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. It made Taehyung think of stories his grandmother told him about ghosts and monsters from old Korea. 2 hours until they reach us, Minho said. Any luck with the hyperdrive, Jimin? I am close, Captain, but I need more time. We do not have more time. Suddenly, the communication system made a sound. Someone was trying to talk to them. But the signal was strange. It sounded like wind through trees mixed with the cry of a hunting bird. What is that? Hyuna asked. It is them, Minho said. The aliens are trying to communicate. Taehyung sat down in his captain's chair. His grandfather had been a soldier. His father had been a police officer. Now it was his turn to face danger and protect his crew. Put them on the main screen. The screen filled with static, then cleared. What they saw made them all step backward. The alien looked like a wolf that had been stretched and changed by millions of years of evolution. Its fur was pure white, and its eyes were the color of blood. When it spoke, sharp teeth showed in its mouth. But the most frightening thing was how it looked at them, like a hunter looking at prey. The alien spoke in its strange language. The Mayan. Computer tried to translate, but only a few words came through clearly. Blood. Hunt. Follow. Taste. Then the screen went black. Well, Taehyung said quietly. Now we know why they are here. The alien ship moved closer like a white shadow in the darkness. Captain Taehyung looked at his crew. They were all scared, but they were still working. That made him proud. Jimin, how much longer for the hyperdrive? At least 8 hours, Captain. Maybe more. The damage is worse than I thought. 8 hours. The alien ship would reach them in less than 1 hour. We need to hide, Taehyung said. Minho, are there any asteroids nearby? Minho checked his sensors. Yes, Captain, there is a big asteroid field around the dead star in this system. We could try to hide there. Do it. Take us into the asteroids. The new soul moved toward the floating rocks. Some asteroids were as small as cars. Others were as big as cities. They created a maze of stone and metal in space. This might work, Hyuna said. The asteroids will block their sensors. But she was wrong. The alien ship followed them into the asteroid field. It moved, between the rocks like water flowing around stones. Sometimes it seemed to pass right through the asteroids without touching them. How are they doing that? Jimin asked. I do not know, Taehyung replied. But they are still following us. The chase began. The new soul moved carefully between the asteroids. One wrong move would crash them into a rock the size of a mountain. Behind them, the white alien ship moved like a ghost. They are scanning us, Minho said. I can feel it. They are looking right through our hull. What are they looking for? Us. Our heat. Our heartbeats. Everything that makes us alive. Taehyung felt like a mouse being chased by a cat. Every time they hid behind an asteroid, the aliens found them. Every time they changed direction, the alien ship was already there waiting. Captain, Hyuna called from the medical bay. Jimin is hurt, he needs help. Taehyung ran to the engine room. Jimin was on the floor holding his arm. Blood was coming from a cut where a power cable had exploded. I am okay, Jimin said. Just a small cut. But Hyuna was already working on him. She cleaned the wound and put bandages on it. The smell of human blood filled the air. Suddenly, the alien ship began to glow. A white light came from its hull like moonlight on snow. It moved faster now, more excited. They can smell the blood, Hyuna whispered. Even in space, somehow they know. The alien ship came closer. Now they could see details on its surface. It looked like it was made from bones and teeth. Things that looked like eyes opened and closed along its sides. Captain, they are trying to talk to us again, Minho said. This time the translation was clearer. The computer had learned more of their language. We smell your blood, small prey. We taste your fear. You cannot hide from the White Fang. White Fang? Tai Hyung asked. I think that is their leader's name, Minho replied. The voice continued. We are the Vrex. We have hunted across 17 worlds. No prey escapes us. Your blood calls to us like music. 17 worlds. Taehyung thought about all the people who had died on those worlds. All the families destroyed by these hunters. We are not prey, he said into the communication system. We are humans. All things with blood are prey to the Vrex. The alien ship moved even closer. Soon it would be close enough to grab them with whatever weapons it had. Jimin, can you make the engines go faster? I am trying, Captain. But if I push too hard, they will explode. Then we need another plan. They hid behind a large asteroid. The New Soul's engines were almost silent. Everyone held their breath. For a moment, it seemed like they had lost. The aliens. The white ship moved past their hiding spot without stopping. Then it turned around and came straight toward them. How did they find us? Hyuna asked. Our hearts, Minho said quietly. They can hear our hearts beating. The alien ship stopped just outside the asteroid they were hiding behind. It was so close they could see the details of its strange hull. Things that looked like veins pulsed under the white surface. Come out, little prey. We promise to make your death quick. Taehyung felt angry. These aliens thought humans were just food. They thought they could hunt people like animals. No, he said into the communication system. We will not come out, and we are not your prey. Then we will come to you. The alien ship began to change shape. Parts of its hull opened like flower petals. Inside were weapons that looked like the teeth of some giant beast. Jimin's repair work sparked and smoked. The stress was too much for the damaged systems. The hyperdrive is dead, he said. I cannot fix it now. Then we fight, Taehyung said. With what? We have no weapons that can hurt a ship like that. Hyuna looked at the alien ship through the window. Maybe we do not need to hurt it. Maybe we just need to confuse it. What do you mean? Look how it moves, like a perfect hunter. It knows exactly what to do because it has done this thousands of times before. But what if we do something it does not expect? Like what? Something no prey animal has ever done before. Before anyone could ask what she meant, the alien ship fired its weapons. A beam of white light hit the asteroid they were hiding behind. The rock exploded into a million pieces. The New Soul was thrown through space like a leaf in a storm. Everyone held on as the ship spun and tumbled. When they finally stopped spinning, the alien ship was right in front of them. So close they could see the red eyes of the creatures inside. Game over, little prey. The White Fang's voice was filled with satisfaction. The hunt was almost finished. Soon they would board the human ship and take what they had come for. But then something strange happened. Instead of screaming or begging for mercy, the humans started making sounds. Not words exactly, but something else. Something the Vrex had never heard before. Well, said the human called Minho. This could have gone better. The White Fang paused. What kind of prey talked calmly when death was so close? I mean, we could be having dinner right now, Minho continued. Instead, we are about to become dinner. The other humans made similar sounds. Not fear, not anger. Something else entirely. You know what the funny thing is? Said the human doctor called Hyuna. I packed a lunch this morning. Ham sandwich. But I forgot to eat it because I was too busy trying not to die. That is not funny, said the engineer called Jimin. What is funny is that I finally fixed the coffee machine yesterday. Now I will never get to use it. The White Fang looked at his hunters. They were all confused. In thousands of years of hunting, they had never seen prey behave like this. What are they doing? Asked one of his hunters. I do not know. The White Fang replied. The human captain called Taehyung spoke into the communication system. Before you kill us, can I ask you something? What? Do you have families? Children? Yes, all Vrex have pack families. What do you tell your children about hunting? The White Fang was surprised by the question. We tell them that hunting is life, that the strong survive and the weak feed the strong. That makes sense, Taehyung said. But what do you tell them about the weak? Nothing. They are food. But we are not just food, are we? We build ships and travel between stars. We carry medicine to help sick people. We have names and families and dreams. Does that not make us something more than food? The White Fang had never thought about this before. Prey was prey. But these humans did seem different from other prey he had. Hunted, it does not matter, he said finally. You still have blood. Blood is what we need. Fair enough, Taehyung replied. But before you take our blood, would you like to hear a joke? A what? A joke. A funny story. Something to make you smile before we die. The White Fang looked at his hunters again. They were all staring at him, waiting for orders, but he found himself curious about what the human would say. Very well. Tell me this joke. Okay. A Vrex hunter goes to see a doctor. The doctor says, I have good news and bad news. The Vrex says, give me the bad news first. The doctor says, you only have 24 hours to live. The Vrex says, what is the good news? The doctor says, I forgot to tell you yesterday. The White Fang stared at the human ship. Then something impossible happened. The corners of his mouth moved up slightly. I do not understand, he said. Why is that amusing? Because the doctor made the bad news worse by waiting to tell him. It is funny because it is terrible. That makes no sense. Most jokes do not make sense. That is what makes them funny. For the first time in his long life, the White Fang did not know what to do next. The White Fang floated in his command chamber, staring at the human ship. His hunters waited for the order to attack, but no order came. Something was wrong with their leader. White Fang, said Sharptooth, his second in command. Why do we wait? The prey is right in front of us, I am thinking, the White Fang replied. About what? We hunt. We feed. That is our way. Yes, but these humans are different. All prey is the same, but the White Fang was not so sure anymore. He opened the communication channel to the human ship again. Human captain, tell me another joke. His hunters looked at each other with confusion. Their leader was asking prey to entertain him. Okay, said Captain Taehyung. Here is one. Why do not aliens ever land at airports? I do not know. Why? Because they are looking for space. The White Fang felt that strange sensation in his mouth again. His lips wanted to move upward. Space, he repeated. Because they are looking for space. That is clever. Thank you. We try. Sharptooth growled, low in her throat. White Fang, this is not how we hunt. We do not talk to our food. Be quiet, the White Fang said. I want to understand this. On the human ship, Minho was starting to feel less scared. Captain, I think the jokes are working. How? Can jokes work against alien hunters? Jaemin asked. I do not know, Huna replied. But look at their ship. It stopped moving toward us. It was true. The Vrex vessel hung motionless in space, no longer closing in for the kill. Maybe they have never heard jokes before, Taehyung said. How? Is that possible? Think about it. They are perfect hunters. They probably spend all their time thinking about hunting and killing. When would they have time to think about funny things? Minho nodded. That makes sense. If all you do is hunt, you probably do not laugh much. So what do? Jimin asked. We tell more jokes, Taehyung decided. Minho, you are good at this. Keep talking to them. Minho took a deep breath. Okay, here goes nothing. He opened the communication channel. Hey, White Fang, want to hear another one? Yes, came the immediate reply. What do you call a Vrex who works in a library? What is a library? A place where we keep books, written knowledge. And what do you call a Vrex who works there? A bookworm. Get it? Because you hunt like predators, but bookworms are small and weak. The White Fang was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, That is insulting. Minho's heart stopped. Had he gone too far? But also amusing, the White Fang continued. I understand the humor now. You take something serious and make it silly. Exactly. Sharptooth had heard enough. White Fang, we must attack now. The other hunting packs will think we are weak if we do not feed. Let them think what they want. The White Fang replied. This is more interesting than feeding. More interesting than blood? Yes. The other Vrex hunters could not believe what they were hearing. Their leader was choosing entertainment over survival instincts. On the human ship, Hyuna was studying the alien vessel through their sensors. Captain, look at this. Their ship's energy patterns are changing. How? The hunting configurations are powering down. They are not preparing to attack anymore. They are listening instead of hunting, Taehyung realized. Jimin looked up from his repair work. Maybe I can fix the hyperdrive after all. If they are not shooting at us, I might have enough time. Do it quietly, Taehyung said. But keep the jokes going, Minho. I am running out of jokes, Captain. Then make some up. Talk about anything. Funny, Minho thought for a moment. White Fang, can I ask you something? Yes. What do Vrex do for fun? Fun? You know, when you are not hunting. When you want to enjoy yourselves. The White Fang was confused. We do not understand this word. Fun. Really? You never do anything just because it makes you happy? Happy? Feeling good. Feeling joy. Like when you succeed at something difficult. We feel satisfaction when we complete a successful hunt. That is kind of like happiness, but not exactly. Happiness is lighter. Like when you see something beautiful or when you spend time with people you care about. The White Fang thought about this. We spend time with our pack, but it is for survival, not for this happiness you describe. Well, jokes are a way to create happiness. We tell them to make each other feel good. Even when you are in danger, especially when we are in danger, when things are scary, jokes help us feel brave. This was a completely new concept for the White Fang. His species had evolved to be perfect hunters, but they had never developed anything like human humor. Show me more of this happiness, he said. Hyuna joined the conversation. White Fang, do you want to hear a medical joke? What is medical? About healing, about making sick people better. You heal your prey. We heal our people. We do not think of each other as prey. Then what do you think of each other as? Family, friends, people we care about. This was another new concept. The Vrex had pack loyalty, but they did not have the human concept of caring for others simply because they wanted to. Tell me the medical joke, the White Fang said. Okay. A patient goes to the doctor and says, Doctor, I keep forgetting things. The doctor says, when did this start? The patient says, when did what start? The White Fang made that strange mouth movement again. This time it was stronger. The patient forgot that he was talking about forgetting, he said. That is amusing. See? You are getting it. Jimin looked up from his work. Hey, I have an engineering joke. What did the photon say when it hit the mirror? What did it say? The White Fang asked. Nothing. It just reflected on its life. This time the White Fang made a sound that was almost like laughter. His hunters stared at him in shock. White Fang, Sharptooth said, What is happening to you? I'm learning, he replied. These humans have something we do not have. What? The ability to create joy from nothing, to make light where there is darkness, to find hope where there should be only fear. That is weakness, is it? Look at them. They are about to die, but they are not afraid. They are making us laugh instead of running away. How is that weak? Sharptooth had no answer for this. Captain Taehyung spoke up. White Fang, can I tell you something? Yes. We are afraid. We are very afraid. But we tell jokes anyway, because being afraid and being happy can happen at the same time. That seems impossible. Most human emotions seem impossible. We are very complicated creatures. Indeed you are. The White Fang made a decision that would change everything. Humans of the ship New Soul, I have a proposal for you. What kind of proposal? I want to learn more about these jokes. I want to understand how you create happiness from fear. And in exchange, we will not hunt you. Today, at least. It was not much, but it was more hope than they had 5 minutes ago. Deal, said Captain Tae-hyung. But we have a lot more jokes to tell. You? Good, the White Fang replied. I have a lot more to learn. For the next 3 hours, something unprecedented happened in the galaxy. The most feared hunters in known space sat listening to humans tell jokes. The White Fang had moved his ship closer to the new Sol, but not to attack. He wanted to see the humans' faces when they spoke. He was fascinated by how their expressions changed when they told their jokes. Your mouth moves differently when you create humor, he observed. It is called smiling, Huna explained. It is how we show happiness. Show me this smiling. Huna smiled at the communication screen. The White Fang studied her face carefully. The corners of your mouth move upward. Your eyes become smaller. It is pleasant to look at. Thank you. You should try it. I do not think Vrek's faces work the same way. Maybe not the same way, but you can try. The White Fang attempted to copy Huna's expression. It looked strange on his wolf-like features, but there was something warm about it. How do I look, he asked. Terrifying, Minho said honestly, but also kind of friendly. Meanwhile, Jimin had been working quietly on the hyperdrive. The repairs were going well, but he was trying not to draw attention to what he was doing. White Fang, Captain Tae-hyung said. Can I ask you something serious? Yes. You said your people have hunted across 17 worlds. What happened to all those people? The White Fang was quiet for a moment. They died. We consumed their blood and moved on. Did you ever try to talk to them first like you are talking to us? No. Prey does not usually talk back. But we are talking back. Yes. That is why this is different. Huna leaned forward. What if those other people could have talked back too? What if they could have told jokes or shared stories, but you never gave them the chance? This question hit the White Fang like a physical blow. In all his years of hunting, he had never considered that his prey might have thoughts and feelings and cultures of their own. I do not know, he said slowly. I am not trying to make you feel bad, Huna continued. I am just saying that maybe those people were more like us than you realized. If that is true, then we have made a terrible mistake. Sharptooth, who had been listening to this conversation with growing anger, finally spoke up. White Fang, this is madness. These humans are making you weak with their word tricks. Are they? The White Fang asked. Or are they making me think for the first time in my life? Thinking is for prey. Hunting is for predators. Maybe that is the problem. The tension between the White Fang and his second-in-command was growing. The other Vrex hunters were taking sides. Some agreed with Sharptooth that this was a waste of time. Others were curious about what the humans were teaching their leader. Minho sensed the conflict and decided to try something risky. Hey, White Fang, want to hear a joke about hunting? That seems dangerous, but yes. Okay. A Vrex hunter goes to a therapist. The therapist says, tell me about your childhood. The Vrex says, when I was young, I learned to hunt. The therapist says, and how did that make you feel? The Vrex says, I do not understand the question. Several of the Vrex made sounds that might have been laughter. Even Sharptooth seemed amused, though she tried to hide it. That is funny because Vrex do not think about feelings, the White Fang said. Only about hunting. Exactly, but feelings are important too. Why? Because they help us understand ourselves and each other. Without feelings, you are just a very smart animal. And with feelings? With feelings, you become a person. The White Fang thought about this for a long time. Are you saying that we Vrex are not people? I am saying that you could be people if you wanted to, but first you would have to stop thinking of everyone else's food. This was a revolutionary idea for the White Fang. His entire culture was built around the concept of predator and prey. But what if there was another way to live? How do we stop being hunters, he asked. You do not have to stop being hunters, Tae-hyung said. You just have to start being something else too. Like what? Explorers, teachers, artists, friends. Friends? People who care about each other even when they do not have to. You humans are friends with each other, some of us, when we are lucky. The White Fang looked at his hunters. Are we friends? Sharptooth snarled. We are a pack. We hunt together. But do we care about each other? We protect each other because it helps us survive. That is not the same thing, is it? No, Hyuna said gently. Caring about someone means you want them to be happy, not just alive. And you want us to be happy? Sure. Why not? Because we tried to kill you. Well, that was not very nice. But you stopped trying to kill us when you started learning about jokes. That shows you can change. The White Fang felt something he had never felt before. It was warm and light, and made him want to protect these humans instead of hunting them. Is this what happiness feels like? He asked. Maybe. How do you feel right now? Strange, like I want to hear more jokes. Like I want to understand more about how you think. That sounds like curiosity and friendship to me. Then yes, I think I am happy. Sharptooth had heard enough. This ends now, she said. White Fang, you have forgotten your purpose. You have forgotten what we are. Maybe what we are is not what we have to stay, the White Fang replied. We are hunters. That will never change. Why not? Because it is our nature. These humans are showing me that nature can be more than we thought. The conflict was about to become dangerous. Sharptooth was preparing to challenge the White Fang for leadership of the pack. The other hunters were choosing sides. But then, Jimin spoke up from his repair station. Hey, I have got one last joke before we all start fighting. This is not the time for jokes, Sharptooth growled. This is exactly the time for jokes, Jimin replied. What do you call a group of aliens who cannot agree on anything? Everyone waited. A parliament. The joke was so unexpected and silly that even Sharptooth made a sound that might have been laughter. A parliament, the White Fang repeated, because they argue instead of deciding. Right. Sometimes the best way to solve a disagreement is to laugh at how silly disagreements can be. Sharptooth looked at the White Fang, then at the humans, then back at the White Fang. I still think you are making a mistake, she said finally. But I will follow you for now. Thank you, the White Fang said. And humans of the new soul, thank you for teaching me that there are more ways to be alive than just surviving. Our pleasure, Captain Taehyung replied. But we should probably figure out what happens next. Yes, what happens next? The White Fang called a meeting with his hunters. They gathered in the main chamber of their ship, floating in zero gravity like white ghosts in the darkness. We have a decision to make, the White Fang began. What decision? Sharptooth asked. We hunt the humans and take their blood. That has always been our way. But what if our way is wrong? The question hung in the air like a dangerous weapon. None of the Vreks had ever questioned their most basic beliefs before. Wrong how? Asked Claw Walker, one of the younger hunters. What if the creatures we hunt are not just food? What if they are people like us with thoughts and feelings and the ability to create beautiful things? Then we have been murderers for thousands of years, Sharptooth said bluntly. The White Fang nodded slowly. Yes, that is exactly what we have been. The hunters were silent. This was too big an idea to understand quickly. But we need blood to survive, Claw Walker said. That is biology. We cannot change that. No, we cannot change our need for blood. But maybe we can change how we get it. What do you mean? The humans carry synthetic blood for medical purposes. What if we could trade for blood instead of taking it by force? Trade what? Our knowledge, our skills, our protection. The galaxy is full of dangers besides us. We could help instead of hunt. Sharptooth growled low in her throat. You want us to become servants to our prey. I want us to become partners with our equals. Meanwhile, on the human ship, Captain Taehyung and the White Fang spent hours discussing leadership and the responsibility that came with power. The White Fang had never thought about whether his decisions were right or wrong, only whether they were successful. Now he was learning to consider the effects of his actions on others. "How do you make decisions that affect so many people?" the White Fang asked. "Very carefully," Taehyung replied. "And I try to remember that every choice I make changes someone's life." That sounds like a heavy burden. It is. But it is also an honor. People trust me to make good choices for them. My hunters follow me because I am strong. Your crew follows you because they believe in you. That is very different. Yes, it is. When they arrived at Kepler Station, word of their unusual partnership had already spread. The station commander, a tough woman named Director Park Yoonbi, met them at the docking bay with a full security team. "Captain Taehyung," she said, "we received your message about alien hunters wanting to negotiate. Are you sure this is not some kind of trap?" "I am sure, Director. The Vreks have changed. They want to help instead of hunt." Director Park looked at the White Fang, who had come aboard the station wearing a specially designed environmental suit. He looked like a nightmare in white armor, but his body language was calm and non-threatening. "You are the one they call the White Fang?" she asked. "I am. And you are the one they call Director Park?" "Yes." "Why should we trust you? Your species has killed thousands of humans." The White Fang was quiet for a moment. "Because we do not want to kill anymore. Because we have learned that there are better ways to live. And because these humans have shown us something we never knew existed." "What?" "Hope." The negotiations took 3 days. Representatives from the human government, the Vreks pack leaders, and several other alien species came to Kepler Station to witness the historic talks. The agreement they reached was simple but revolutionary. The Vreks would stop hunting humans in exchange for access to synthetic blood and medical supplies. They would also provide protection services for human ships traveling through dangerous parts of space. More importantly, they would work together to contact other Vreks packs and convince them to make the same agreement. "This is just the beginning," the White Fang said during the signing ceremony. "My people have lived as hunters for so long that we forgot we could be anything else. These humans have reminded us that we have choices." "What will you do now?" Director Park asked. "We will go to other Vreks territories and share what we have learned. We will tell them about jokes and happiness and the possibility of friendship. Some will listen, others will not. But we will try." Captain Taehyung stood up to speak. 6 days ago, we thought we were going to die. Instead, we made friends with the most dangerous hunters in the galaxy. This proves that even the scariest situations can lead to something beautiful, if we are brave enough to try." The White Fang nodded. "And if we are wise enough to laugh." 3 months later, the first Vreks Comedy Club opened on a space station, near Earth. The shows were still terrible, but they were getting better. More importantly, they were a symbol of how much things had changed. The White Fang had kept his promise. He and his pack had visited 12 other Vreks hunting groups, and 7 of them had agreed to stop hunting humans. It was not perfect, but it was progress. Meanwhile, human-Vreks partnerships were forming all over the galaxy. Human ships traveled safely through previously dangerous areas, protected by Vreks escorts. Vreks hunters learned new skills and found new purposes in life. Dr. Huna established the first interspecies medical research program. Engineer Jimin designed ships that combined human and Vreks technology. Communications officer Minho became a professional comedian, touring space stations and teaching other species about the power of humor. And Captain Taehyung kept flying cargo ships, but now he carried more than medical supplies. He carried the story of how humanity's greatest weakness became their greatest strength. In his final log entry about the incident, he wrote, "We learned that the universe is full of creatures who think they know what they are supposed to be. But sometimes the best thing you can do is show them what they could become instead. The galaxy is a little bit safer now and a lot more interesting." The White Fang, reading the log entry through their shared communication network, added his own note. "And we learned that the prey we thought we were hunting was actually hunting something much more valuable than blood. They were hunting hope, and when they caught it, they shared it with us." The story of the new soul and the White Fang spread throughout human space and beyond. It became a legend about the day laughter stopped the galaxy's most perfect predators and turned them into friends. But for the people who lived it, it was simply the day they discovered that even in the darkest void of space, there was always room for one more joke. Taehyung was having his own meeting with his crew. "The hyperdrive is fixed," Jimin reported. "We could leave right now if we wanted to." "Do we want to?" Taehyung asked. "I do not know," Hyuna said. "This White Fang seems different from what we expected. Maybe we can actually talk to him. He still leads a pack of alien hunters who wanted to eat us an hour ago," Minho pointed out. "True, but he also stopped hunting us when we told jokes. That has to count for something." Taehyung thought about his options. They could run and hope. The Vrex did not follow them. Or they could stay and try to build something new. "What do you think we should do?" he asked his crew. "I think we should try to help them," Hyuna said. "They are not evil. They are just stuck in old patterns." "They are hunters, Hyuna. It is what they do. So are humans, when we need to be. But we are also doctors and engineers and comedians. Maybe the Vrex can be more than just hunters too." Jimin nodded. "Besides, if we can change them, we might save a lot of lives on other worlds. Or we might get ourselves killed," Minho added. "True. But if we run away, other people will definitely get killed. At least this way we have a chance to make things better." Taehyung made his decision. "We stay. But we stay smart. If this goes bad, we run fast." The communication channel between the two ships crackled to life. "Captain Taehyung," the White Fang said, "I want to make a deal with you." "What kind of deal?" "My people need blood to survive. Your people need safe passage through space." "What, if we could help each other? How?" "You give us access to synthetic blood through trade. We give you protection from other dangers in space." Taehyung was surprised. This was not what he had expected. "You want to become bodyguards?" "I want my people to become something other than killers. This seems like a good start." "What about the rest of your species? Will they agree to this?" "I do not know. Change is hard for any species. But maybe if we show them a better way, they will follow. And if they do not, then we will have to choose between our old life and our new one." Sharptooth's voice came over the communication channel. "White Fang speaks the truth. This is not an easy choice for us. But we have seen what you humans can do with your jokes and your stories. You make light where there should be darkness. Perhaps it is time for us to try something new." Hyuna leaned forward. "What changed your mind, Sharptooth?" "Your jokes. When I laughed at them, I felt something I had never felt before. I want to feel that again." "What did you feel?" "Joy. Pure joy. Not the satisfaction of a successful hunt, but something lighter and brighter. Something that did not require anyone to die." The White Fang continued. "We propose this. We will escort your ship to its destination. Along the way, you will teach us more about humor and happiness and all the things that make life more than just survival. When we reach your destination, we will help you explain to your people what happened here. And then we will see if humans and Vrex can build something together instead of just hunting each other." Captain Taehyung looked at his crew. They all nodded. "We accept your deal," he said, "but we have some conditions." "What conditions?" "First, no more hunting humans. Any humans anywhere." "Agreed." "Second, you help us contact other Vrex packs and try to convince them to stop hunting too." "That will be difficult, but we will try." "Third, you help us set up meetings between humans and Vrex so we can work together officially." "Also agreed." "And finally, you let Minho tell you more jokes during the trip." The White Fang made that strange laughing sound again. "That is the easiest condition to accept." The next few days were unlike anything either species had ever experienced. The two ships traveled together through hyperspace, with the Vrex learning about human culture and the humans learning about Vrex hunting techniques. It turned out that the Vrex were incredibly good at detecting danger in space. They could sense asteroid storms, hostile aliens, and equipment failures long before human sensors picked them up. In exchange, the humans taught them about art and music, and the thousand small things that made life worth living. Minho became the first human comedian to perform for an alien audience. His shows were terrible by human standards, but the Vreks loved them anyway. They especially enjoyed jokes about the absurdity of existence and the silly things that happened when different species tried to understand each other. Dr. Hyuna worked with the Vreks medical specialist to understand how their blood drinking worked. She discovered that synthetic blood was actually better for them than natural blood because it did not carry diseases or emotional trauma. Jimin and the Vreks engineers shared knowledge about faster-than-light travel. The Vrek ships could phase through matter, while human ships could calculate more precise jumps. Together, they began designing hybrid technologies. Captain